I think today's expression is particularly fascinating.
Ooh, I like that. You're excited.
I am.
You have ideas, your gears are turning.
I am because I believe, and you will correct me if I'm wrong, that the expression we're going to explore today does not have an equivalent in English.
Isn't that fascinating when that happens? Because there's so many phrases that do have equivalents, the similarities between languages. But anyway.
Most of them, I think this is the first expression, and we have been doing this for a while, that does not really have an equivalent. And to me, that expresses more than the depth of language. It expresses differences in culture.
Wow. So this is a first time for just a Spanish phrase, which is, of course, dear listeners, if you're tuning in right now, the podcast that you're listening to. Just the Spanish Phrase is a companion podcast to News in Slow Spanish, where what do we do here, Maria?
So in Just a Spanish Phrase, we explore every week idiomatic expression that is used in Spanish, but we explore it in English. We talk about the origin, the uses, etc. And then we are the companion podcast of News in Slow Spanish. What do we do in News in Slow Spanish?
Oh, thank you. In News in Slow Spanish, we teach you Spanish. We help you learn and maintain and enrich your Spanish through weekly news episodes, podcasts that are designed especially for Spanish language learners, where you listen to real Spanish conversations, real stories, but designed for you to learn.
And we also have idiomatic expressions, but there all of our conversations are 100% in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to today's expression.
What is it?
Todo depende del cristal con que se mire. It all depends on the crystal you're looking for. So there are close enough expressions in English, but not really. So
That's
what do you
right.
think todo depende del cristal con que se mire is an equivalent in English?
It's a very good question. So, of course, as is usually my job, I do a little digging into the history of this expression. And you're right, there isn't a direct equivalent. There are some phrases, commonly used phrases in English, that are close. And the closest one, it is not as versatile as todo depende del cristal con que se mire, but it is in the same spirit of relativism. And that is, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You've heard that one for sure.
Yes, of course. And that's why I think it's not enough to translate todo depende del cristal con que se mire.
Yeah.
Because we were discussing right before the show, I actually disagree with this expression.
I love when that happens.
Not everything depends on the
crystal you're looking through.
Yeah, that I think it has the danger of take us into relativism, where everything is relative. There's not something really good or really bad. I think there's animal cruelty or child cruelty is always bad. There's no excuse for that.
Okay, but there's an interesting topic you just brought up. Animal cruelty, which, believe me, I'm on your side. Animal cruelty is it's a really challenging reality that we live with, because our society, whether we like it or not, really does depend on a lot of practices that are based in animal cruelty. Not just the food industry, but also science.
Yeah, and that is why, one of the things that we wanted to discuss today was experimentation with animals,
yeah.
right? And we had a fascinating article on News in Slow Spanish Advance about a company in Spain that just came out with these horrible practices, horrible things they were doing to animals in the name of science. Remember the Russian dog that was just abandoned in space?
Laika, the first animal in space.
I don't see any justification for that. To me, todo depende del cristal con que se mire. No, you should not abandon a poor animal and let the poor animal die a slow death, no matter what.
I'm with you, Maria, but just to play devil's advocate for a moment, which I know you appreciate.
I do.
Todo depende del cristal con que se mire. This is a tough one, but if you think about animal experimentation or anything done in the name of science, it's not always right. And obviously, there are questionable practices in that industry where people could be doing a better job to avoid animal pain and suffering.
And I understand if you're experimenting to find a cure to
Right.
cure kids' cancer, you need to experiment on animals first. So it's the cruelty what I disagree
Oh,
with.
I see. Okay. Okay. The
And I think
cruelty.
Laika, what they did to Laika was cruel.
That's true. And there was no plan for Laika to return.
No.
Yeah.
So my point is, if I tell you I'm against animal cruelty, you can say todo depende del cristal con que se mire and tell me sometimes it's justified in the name of science. But
Mm.
if you reply to me and you say the beauty is in the eye of the beholder, that doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't work. And see, that's what you were saying, that there isn't a direct equivalent for todo depende del cristal con que se mire. In fact, we would say it just very, it's not really an idiomatic expression. It's just very straightforward. It all depends on how you look at things.
Exactly.
Which is a phrase that you might hear in English, but it's not really an idiomatic expression in the same way that el cristal con que se mire. Now, beauty in the eye of the beholder, that is an idiomatic expression. And it's limited to talk about the subjective nature of beauty. Like so often, or most often, I think it's used to talk about art.
Yeah, about beauty. So I think the only possible translation is say it all depends.
It all depends on how you look at things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, again, not an idiomatic expression. But back to the expression for today, where does it come from?
That's a question I have for you. Todo depende del cristal con que se mire. What was the origin?
You're going to love this one.
The Bible?
No, not at
For
all.
once.
Because for this one, we're turning to a famous Spanish poet.
Ooh.
Ramón de Campoamor. And in one of his quartets, he wrote, En este mundo traidor,
In this
traitorous world, treacherous
world,
nada es verdad ni mentira.
Nothing is true, nothing is a lie, nothing is false.
Todo es según el color del cristal con que se mira.
Oh, everything depends on the crystal you're looking from.
Yeah, looking through.
Looking through,
Yeah,
exactly.
And you think about it, the looking glass or the looking crystal, it's often how they would talk about telescopes or anything to, enhance your vision. Yes. Now, this idea, so this quartet by Ramón de Campoamor is the origin for that phrase, todo depende del cristal con que se mira. But we can't give this gentleman all the credit because he was also inspired by other literary works. And in fact, William Shakespeare, you may have heard of him.
He sounds familiar.
Yeah, I think he's British. Wrote about this idea of the color of the crystal you're looking through impacting the perception of what you see. And we've actually explored a phrase on this program, just a Spanish phrase, which is looking at life through rose-colored glasses. It's the same idea.
Con lentes color de rosa o mirar.
Yes.
But again, it's
search for that episode and you can enjoy that.
It is not a direct translation of todo depende del cristal con que se mire, because when you're looking through pink glasses, you're always happy. It's optimism.
Exactly.
So if I tell you I'm against animal cruelty, I'm against experimentation with animals for science or for cosmetics, you cannot say, oh, you're looking through pink.
Rose-colored glasses?
No, you cannot say. So
No.
it is a unique expression that I hope you can use when you speak Spanish.
Yes, try it out. And just to finish things off, Maria, you said that you disagreed with this phrase. So there are things that are objectively good and things that are objectively bad.
Yes, child cruelty, animal cruelty, any type of cruelty in general, but even more with the most vulnerable.
Yes.
And those who cannot express themselves and say, hey, I don't want you to do that to me. And that assumes that, oh, yeah, we are humans are so superior that we can be cruel against all the other animals because we deserve it. Says who?
You make a powerful argument, my friend. And so I wonder what the people listening to this right now, what do they think? What do you think?
Feel free to email us at amigos@newsinslowspanish.com. If you can try to convince me, good luck with that.
That's right. Do you agree that todo depende del cristal con que se mira?
Or you don't. don't. Let us know. Do you think morals are relative, or there are some things that are definitely good and
Always
definitely
asking
bad?
the important questions, Maria. Well, thank you for listening to another episode of Just a Spanish Phrase.
Adios.